Hey guys, we had audio issues again. I'm gonna try to make sure this isn't, like I said, a regular thing. We're still learning, so be patient with us. But thank you again for listening. And I hope that it's not too bad. I did my best to fix it again. And yeah, so have a good one. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. Shivam, have you moved the block of cocaine yet?
I thought it was meth.
Have you moved the block of cocaine yet, Shivam?
No, I was having trouble shoving it into my ass. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, the neighbor's dog actually came up to me and I was like, "Hey, buddy." So he helped me out with that a little bit. So
Okay.
it should be good. And I don't know how they used to do it with the messenger pigeons. You know what I'm
Yep.
talking about? And then they just tie a letter onto them and then they'd go.
Yeah.
So I did that basically. I told him your address, so hopefully he's
Oh, okay.
heading there right now.
So
But that was 6 days ago, so hopefully that works.
So what you're saying is that you were in possession of cocaine, and then you Shivam Agarwal were in possession of cocaine, and then you shipped that cocaine via
Well,
carrier pigeon.
I don't know
Is
if
that correct?
dogged. I don't know. I was gonna say dogged. I don't know if shipped, but I dogged it. I think that
Dog.
should.
Okay, yeah.
I dogged
but
it. Yeah.
Is that a correct statement? Was that correct?
Well, I mean. I don't
Yes or
know
no,
about
yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I can neither confirm nor
Shivam.
deny saying
Shivam.
that ever.
Shivam. What? Say yes. Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is being recorded, so I guess the
Say
evidence
yes.
stacked against me.
Say yes.
I did.
That's called entrapment, bitch. What's up, you fucking giants? Welcome back to 5'12".
We are it's your boys, it's your long boys. I'm Shivam.
I may have clipped there.
Yeah, no, you told me about laughing away from the mic because
Yes.
I noticed when I was listening to the last episode, I was like, damn, I thought my gain was set at a good place, but I was clipping all over the place, and you were like, yeah, it's because you spiked or something, which I didn't know, which I now realize that makes a lot of sense, but I gotta yank my head away.
Yeah, you weren't clipping that bad. It's just there's a couple points where you're clipping.
Here and there, yeah.
This segment is called Audio Engineering with Stupid Little Bitch Boy.
Stupid little bitch boy.
Stupid
I actually
bitch boy.
didn't give, I said Mr. Agarwal. But my, I think, so my tag, what I go by, at least, started to go by recently, is
Yes.
Shimmy. I think it's, a fun thing to say. So I'll be
Yes.
like, hey, you can call me Shimmy.
That sounds stupid.
Well, I mean,
Just kidding.
you
It's
gotta,
cool.
you gotta
No,
get
you're
used
cool,
to it,
you're
you
cool.
know? You know what I mean? Yours is,
I mean, I
what
am.
is yours? Tell me.
Stupid bitch boy.
Well, it's also, you
Bumguard.
do ISAC.
Isaac, and I do Bumguard. But if you're Mr. Agarwal, I could be Bumguard.
Bumguard? No, I
Yeah.
like Shimmy and Isaac, or
But-
Isaac.
but
I was
Bumguard and
actually, I put
Agarwal.
it into the description.
Okay, wait. But where's Shimmy and Isaac?
Or Isaac and
or
Shimmy.
Isaac. It's spelled Isaac. You pronounce it Isaac.
Oh.
And so visually it's different, but audibly it's not different at all.
Oh, I always said it because you know, I mean, you look at it, EYESAK,
But if-
Isaac,
Yes. Yeah, sometimes I say Isaac. It doesn't matter. It's just okay. So I want to go into the lore actually.
Oh, okay, yes.
It's not super interesting, but there is a reason why I do it. It's something that my friends gave me. Because I'm cool enough to have friends who give me nicknames, and so that I don't have to give myself a stupid nickname like Shimmy or something like that.
Oh fuck! I keep laughing into.
Fuck
Ha, ha,
you, dude.
ha, ha. Bragged. I got to fake laugh away from the mic so that I can get used to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yo, why don't you laugh? Why don't you laugh into my mic, baby girl?
Oh man.
I have a weird fucking like non-laugh where it's like, and I thought that like when I was editing, I was trying to manually go through every like silent pattern, like every silent dip, and like cut out my noise. Because originally what I did. Welcome back to audio engineering with Isaac. So when I tried to just do like the blanket noise cancellation on I'm not going to say the software I use, but basically like you capture a noise print, so you tell the computer this is what is noise, and then I think it does one of two things. So it either like it looks for that pattern and reduces it wherever it thinks it finds it, or probably what it does is it just kind of blankets the whole thing and like reduces levels uniformly to where it would cancel out that. But when you do that like multiple times, I did it like 4 times because it wasn't like getting all the noise out. It made all of the audio levels like really, really like quiet and like really hoarse. And my voice is already quiet and hoarse, so it just sounded really bad, and I got really scared.
Like yeah,
I got scared because I was like, oh fuck, did I fuck up my recording again? But no, it wasn't that bad. I actually didn't do any audio, like any changes on the last episode for my voice. I just cut out the noise. So I had to go through manually and get rid of all the noise. And when I did that, there was like these little like like whatever patterns there. And I was like, is that because I smack my fucking lips a lot apparently, and it sounds really gross. It's like
I see. Randomly. I didn't want to say anything, but like I was listening to it, and I think I heard both of us breathing so loudly last time. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and make a conscious effort to be like, to just like, pace myself and just breathe away from it, because it was, these mics are pretty good. Like they pick up a lot.
Yeah, they pick up everything like right in front of them. So if you're breathing right in front of them, it's gonna pick it up.
Yeah. So like, I'm just gonna try and like the area of my area where I'm working, where I do my laughs, like I'm gonna go there and like take a breath or two. It's like you're snorkeling, right? Like you go in for a little bit, then you come back up, you breathe, and you're like a snorkeling mask, like at my table.
But you don't go up for a snorkeling mask. You just stay at the top of the water.
I've seen okay, that's what I've done, because I've been snorkeling like a handful of times, and that's what I did. But I've seen videos of people with just like, the regular snorkeling masks, and they'll go underwater. And I was like, how?
Well,
like, I feel like I just feel like it defeats the purpose. Like, it doesn't make any sense to, you know what I mean? Like, it's dumb. Like, you're supposed to stay at the surface so you can keep breathing and still look underwater.
Well, those people are psychotic, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't like.
I used to think, like, when I saw those videos when I was younger, I was like, oh shit, like, shit must do something and you can breathe. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then when I, like, did it, I was like, oh no, those people are, like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, you can't breathe. Like, it's water. It's surprise.
Like, oh shit, baby, did you just go underwater with your snorkel? That's fucking hot.
No, don't go underwater. You're too sexy.
No, babe, don't go underwater with your snorkel. That's not how you use it. You can go underwater with my snorkel.
Oh man, no, I'm glad. Wait, so you didn't finish your, or did you finish your nickname thing?
No, I didn't actually. I was gonna get back to that.
Yeah, go for it.
I remember, people. I remember. Don't at me in the comments. I don't even know if we have comments for this, but whatever.
I think so. When I put the videos up on YouTube, we got 2 comments for one spam. For each video, and they were both bots.
Both bots, both fucking spam. Because it was an hour and a half, or that one was an hour, like an hour 10.
Yeah, it was it was like 90 minutes, dude. I saw it was like 94 or something like that.
The fuck? I thought it was an hour.
We went
10.
Way too long.
I edited that one. What the hell?
No, I'm serious. You're talking about episode 2, right?
Yeah.
No, I was listening to it and it said like 90 something. I think it said 94 minutes. I was like, oh my God. Like,
dude, the cool thing about this is that I can just like look it up now. Well, now I can't find it. Albums?
Now you gotta go podcast.
It's not
or
an option on
recently
here.
played?
I'll just look at profiles. Oh wait, no,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
podcast episodes. Sorry, wait, but that's
Yeah, there is.
episodes. It's not like I'll just look at profiles. It's fine. Bro, what the fuck? I can't find it on here. Are we artists?
I mean,
Are
we
under
can check
artists?
it out after this.
Dude, I had this shit up.
Well, no, because I'm glad you brought up. Wait, no, you still haven't finished your story,
It's
bro.
actually fucking annoying. Yeah, hold on. Sorry, I got really sidetracked. So ISAC is. I grew up in an area with a lot of like Hispanic Mexican people.
Mhm.
And they have trouble pronouncing the double A in my name because it doesn't make sense phonetically in Spanish. Like they don't have like double A. But double S is a thing. So they would say Isaac instead
Really?
of Isaac. Yeah, they wouldn't
That's
say Isaac because
interesting.
that doesn't like it doesn't really like Isaac doesn't really exist phonetically like that. Saying that you can't even like transliterate it. So the way to translate it would be Isaac.
Isaac.
So
Hmm.
some people would start calling me Isaac because it also kind of was like because you could pronounce the I as I and then the zik or whatever, however you pronounce that.
Isaac. Cool.
The
What?
faux Hebrew whatever. It's like it would be like sack or whatever or
Mhm.
sock. So Isaac. People would just say Isaac.
Gotcha.
And
So
then
it was like,
yeah.
like it was their way of like making up for them not being able to say it. They have to like
Well,
put
some of
extra
them,
emphasis on it.
Some of them, yeah, but a lot of like it depended on who it was. Like there, like if it was like an older person who like emigrated or immigrated, they
Mhm.
would say like Isak. Or if it was like like a transfer student or like foreign exchange or whatever, they would also say Isak. But a lot of the I guess a lot of them they had they had good English or they were like English first language or like their the whole like I'm trying to think of what it's called
You're
where
talking about
a
ESO?
second or third generation
Oh,
so like so it's
gotcha,
like
gotcha.
yeah, but they would I think there was some kind of like subconscious understanding of that and then it just became like a play on words. So then I would just like somebody like actually drew on one of my notepads like an eyeball and then like a bag.
Like a nutsack?
No, like a bag, like a sack of money, but without the dollar sign. So it
Mm.
literally was like I sack. And then
And
I
then they
took
drew
that and
another one right next to it, and then they drew like a really long one on top of it.
yeah. Yeah, and then they put like a penis. No, they didn't. They didn't think to do that. I don't know why. Nobody
You
thought
know
to do
what?
that.
Sometimes children can be cruel,
You know why,
but
Shim? Because I was cool. All right,
you
and they
sure
didn't
about
want to
that?
disrespect me because I was cool.
I think, maybe at some point in your life you had to have been cool. So
Yeah.
if not now, which is definitely like, not
Yeah.
the case.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It had to have been back then. Yeah.
Yeah, like my popularity. I peaked in junior high.
Yeah, junior high. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I peaked in elementary school.
I peaked when I skipped kindergarten. That was my peak. It's all been downhill from there.
You can skip pre-K. You can't skip kindergarten.
That's what I did. I
just stuttered
so I went to
hardcore.
I went to this Montessori school, DAV. Shout out my DAV squad. That's actually where Sunmay comes from. Back in the day, and I guess they just learned me up real good.
Yeah, that's the factory they pulled him out of. Yeah,
yeah, DAV, and it was like this Indian Montessori school. And so I went there. I think my older sister went there, but not my oldest. So they opened it in time for her to go. And it was like an Indian Montessori school. So like, when, okay, maybe you can't relate to this, or maybe you can't. When you were, no, because you were saying you lived in predominantly like, what was it, like Hispanic, you said? Like,
kind of.
So the school, like imagine this. Because it was an Indian Montessori school, there was one kid who was white and everybody else was Indian. it was like, I was like, how does it feel to be the minority now? Like Michael, and he was like, I don't like it, and I was like, yeah, feels bad, doesn't it? I was
Jeez.
I was like, yeah, like it sucks.
Oh, so you were a bully. Nice.
Yeah, like
So you're a racist bully. Nice.
yeah. That's about right. I
Okay.
had to get my licks in early when I was a child.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was like it was reversed. So it was pretty cool. And then like obviously that was like sheltered because it was like its own little community, right? So when I skipped pre-K, I went to first grade, I was actually exposed to students who were like people who were not Indian or white. And I don't get me wrong, like I knew they existed, like obviously, but I never like interacted with them. So I was like, it was a learning curve there. Like I had to like figure out how to navigate those waters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't like a shitty kid though. I'm just gonna say, like I wasn't like a piece of shit. Man. Like if you're not man. Indian, I hate you. Like it was just, you're a kid. You gotta get used to it.
The record shows, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just
first the meth cocaine dog thing, and now this. Like
entrapment, bitch.
No, but I'm glad you brought up the nickname thing from before, because back in high school I played baseball for a year, and like I had so many nicknames on there, just because like in that for that team, like it was predominantly white, which is what you would expect from baseball, or like in like a lot of head coaches were white, and literally like I got so many nicknames from being on that team just because they couldn't say Shivam.
What the? Oh,
like it was crazy.
I also have a story about that, but continue.
Like one of the head coaches, can't remember his name, but literally he was reading my name off of a piece of paper, which if you don't know how to spell it, SHIVAM.
No, don't give it away. No.
And he was
personal
like
information.
he was reading my name off a piece of paper, and he was like looking at it, he's like, Shizm? I was like, are you fucking blind? Like I can't tell like what the problem is.
Wait, hold on. Please tell me at some point they called you Shazam.
That was I was getting to that.
Okay,
so Shazam was one of them.
I won't spoil it. Don't tell me, dude. Don't spoil it. Come on.
So Shazam was in there. Shibamba. Because of my last name, I got this is really a nickname, but I got Agamemnon. That was one. I got Aggie. I think those are my primary four. So I actually for the longest time, I started like the season in like August or something. I don't know, July maybe, and I went from like July or August all the way up until like probably like January or February. And I still didn't know why they called me Aggie. And then like a teammate of mine, he was like, bro, we figured it out. It's because of your last name. And I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, like I'm the dumbest.
How the fuck did you not?
I have no fucking clue how I did not get that.
Oh my God.
It was the dumbest thing, man. It was so dumb.
You're killing me, man.
But yeah, Agamemnon was probably my favorite. Shibamba, Shazam.
Shit made me laugh.
But yeah, Agamemnon. I was like, that takes a creative mind to come up with that. Like, thank you. I'm glad.
Like, I'm truly blessed to be called Agamemnon. Thank you so much. Yo,
you can call me Agamemnon, but I'm here to thank my Agamemnon mom. Ahaha. Thank you, Mom.
Babe, when you called me Agamemnon just now, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, no, okay, so, moving on past that, I wanted to tell you about this thing that I saw on Facebook.
My nickname.
I thought you had, do you have any more besides?
I'm going to echo your story, because...
Oh yeah, go for it. I didn't realize.
Pronounce, Bromgard. I just pronounced my own name wrong. I can't pronounce Bromgard.
Yeah, that's how you know it's hard.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm like, I don't know, like fucking 6th or 7th generation by now or something like that. So I don't know.
I thought you were about to say I'm like 6 or 7 foot. I was like, damn,
I'm like
bro,
6 or 7 feet tall. I'm 6'6", two separate measurements.
Damn.
Damn.
Ladies.
Ladies,
Lady.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
Ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, okay.
Anyways, so like, I don't actually know how the German is pronounced, but it's a German last name.
Okay.
But we pronounce it like Bromgard.
Right.
And no, like, and when you play football or just like any sport, I feel like it's mostly like a football thing. The coaches and just everybody will only call you by your last name. So when I was in high school, so I played junior high football, which is 7th, 8th grade is the earliest
Right.
you can do it. Or else I would have played all 3 years.
Wait, quick tangent that I just want to add in. My junior high was so scrawny that we did not have a football team, and our homecoming was based off of basketball.
Well, yeah, because you're all.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
were fucking nerds, so we literally couldn't handle it.
It's because
But
you're
yeah,
all
that was
Indian,
just
dude.
my quick tangent. Just wanted to throw that in there. You can go for it.
Yeah. So, in high school, so I played in junior high, but then in high school, my dad worked at the school. So he would go by, people call him Mr. Bromgard because he's a teacher. Nobody calls him by Bob. I just added my dad's name, Rip. And so like with playing football for the first 2 years of high school, and then like my dad working at the school, people only call me Bromgard. Like my casual friends would call me Bromgard.
Really interesting.
Like
okay.
nerds, or sorry, I shouldn't say nerds. I was in like all AP basically. I didn't do AP.
Okay.
Shut up. I didn't do AP.
Damn, student athlete taking AP classes. Fucking legend over here, dude.
Actually, funny story. Freshman year, I took all pre AP, and then my dad was like, "You probably don't want to do that if you're playing football." And I was like, "I'll be fine." And then I did, I think, like 2 days of geometry, or like a week. I think it was a week of
2 days,
geometry and what the fuck is that called? Oh, what did we take? World history? No, world geography. World geo, right?
Geography was 9th grade, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I took pre-AP world geo, and I love math. Like, I fucking love math. But in 9th grade, I hated geometry. I think it's because I was like, this is just shapes and it's bullshit. Because they didn't teach it in like the way that you would want to teach it. I use geometry all the fucking time now.
Damn, you be out like changing out the light bulbs at your job and be like, oh, Pythagorean theorem.
Sines and cosines, dude, to figure out how tall the lamppost is respective to its shadow.
There's like I do remember that, but there's like, I'm just imagining there's like a sign like held up and it says how high up off the ground it is, but you're like, nah, dude, like, fuck that. I'm gonna use sine and cosine to figure it out.
I'm gonna whip out my tape measure and measure the shadow and use law sines and cosines.
And then I'm gonna measure the angle. Check the angle with my protractor that I stay strapped with.
I'm gonna fucking measure the angle of the sun incident to the ground so I can figure out what angle I'm working with. So when I plug in my sines and my cosines, I know what theta equals. Therefore, I have 2 equations and 1 unknown. Or I guess 1 equation, 1 unknown, whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the right ratio.
It is.
Yeah, good job.
But you could also do a 1 equation, 1 unknown.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to have an equal, at least less than or equal to a number of equations.
I don't care. But I'm not going to go down that hole. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, so like trigonometry, I really like trigonometry and like calculus and stuff like that, and that's really geometry heavy. So like later on, I was like, wait, this is actually kind of cool. But like that in 9th grade, the first week, I was like, this is fucking boring, and I didn't care to do my homework, so I was kind of like failing immediately.
Wait,
and that's
okay, just gonna dive into that. So like, you didn't want to do your homework.
No.
So you didn't.
Yeah. Or like I would do it like I would do it late. So cuz like I didn't really have autonomy to say like, oh, I'm not going to do my homework, cuz my parents would be like, "Have you done your homework?" And I'm like, "Yes." Or I would say no. because I
Wait, okay. Say
was
that
a very
again.
honest kid.
It cut out a little bit
You
after I asked that
motherfucker.
question. Yeah.
Fucking hate you. Okay. I didn't have the luxury to say like, oh, I have homework, I'm not gonna do it. Because my parents would ask me, and I was an honest kid, so I'd be like, no, I didn't do it. Yeah, I would be like, no, I didn't do it. So then they make me do it.
Okay.
So basically, it would be like late nights, and I was like struggling because I would come home from practice like at 7 p.m., 6, 7 p.m.
Mhm.
And then we would eat dinner, and then it'd be like it'd be like 7, 8 p.m. by the time I would start my homework. And luckily, like as a kid, I would stay up really late. Um, but I had to go to school. Like I had to wake up for school at 5 a.m. because my dad left the house at 6 a.m. to get to the school at 6:30 a.m. because he had to
Oh,
be
'cause
at
teacher,
school
right.
an hour early. I think 30
Uh-huh.
minutes early, but he would get there an hour early because he's a tryhard.
Yeah, fucking nerd, dude.
Yeah, so I would be like running on like 5, 6 hours of sleep, going to practice and shit like that.
Mhm.
And the only reason I think I was able to do that was because I was exercising constantly. So I had a lot of like I had built up, the energy to do that or whatever. So like
Mhm.
when I didn't care about geometry, and then I really didn't care about like world geo or history. Like I think it's interesting, but I wouldn't take a class on it. Like I'd rather just like study it in my own time because
Mhm.
I suck with names and dates. I'm shitty with names and I'm shitty
Mhm.
with dates.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at dates now, but I'm still really terrible with names. So
Mhm.
like geography and social sciences, that's a nightmare. It's all dates, it's all names, it's numbers. It's just like none of it makes sense logically. You have to just know it.
Yeah, like
You can't bullshit it.
it's straight memorization. Like I can't make up a fake ass name.
Yeah.
Like that isn't like for math. It can be like, okay, like I can kind of BS my way through this. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
But like that's also one thing that I didn't like about like social studies or like classes of that nature. Like
Yeah.
it's either you know it or you don't, and you can't figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like it gets easier as you go along because you start like um you start remembering things. Like I took government these like past 2 years, and
Mhm.
that was really easy
Really?
because yeah, because like I pay attention to the news, so like there's a lot of like current events. And then when it talks about like past events, I have a frame of reference. So I know 1942 is World War II. So I base that off of like, okay, would this be post World War II or pre World War II? And I also know
Gotcha.
like kind of the general policies of the presidents based on the era. So then,
Mm.
like, if you know Great Depression, you know that that's New Deal and like a lot of social services. You also know that pre World War II, U.S. was very isolationist, and that's why we took so long to get into World War II, which made
Damn.
us
All right.
a economic. Huh?
Flex that knowledge,
Hell yeah,
bro.
dude. Hell yeah, dude. Because
Dude,
like I
I don't
said,
know any of this.
this shit's interesting, but
I know about the
I
New
don't want
Deal.
to take a class for it. It's so much work, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you know that like uh, U.S. emerged an economic superpower because we spent less money on the war, so we had less debt. Um, and then Germany got obliterated because of Geneva
Wait,
Convention.
what is this? Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying the general frame of reference. I didn't want to finish my thought because you cut me
Oh,
off, dude. Shut
well,
the
I
fuck
mean,
up.
my
So
bad, my bad.
but I know that now.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that then, because I didn't pay attention in junior high to that stuff.
Mhm.
And like pre AP and junior high was so easy. Like our science class, we had a general science class, and it was like there was nothing difficult about it at all. Like there was no like there was no equations like at all. I remember playing survival, like Survivor. We played Survivor as like the
Survivor?
last 2 weeks. We had like a month-long project. It was just
Wait,
Survivor.
the
I'm like,
show.
what? It was really fun. But like,
Wait, what is Survivor? Can you explain that to me?
survive. So you got a time period. What would that be? 2011? No, 2010. Uh, was like, I think we were in 7th grade, right?
Well, in 2010 I was in 5th grade, so you would be in 6th.
Yes, because 2012 was when I was in 9th grade. So 2011. No, wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. But it goes back and back. So yeah, 2010, 2011, or 2011, I think was. No, yeah, it's 2010, 2011 was when I was in 7th grade.
All right, yeah,
then
sure.
20. Fuck, dude.
Man, it doesn't matter.
I got it backwards because exit date for high school was 2016. But that kind of skews. So maybe I entered in 2011 high school.
You would have entered in 2011.
Fuck me, dude. All right, well, whatever. Either way, there's a show called Survivor. That's like you have like I think 2 teams who would go against each other, or maybe there's more. I think there's like 4 teams. It says on here it has 20 castaways.
20 castaways.
So they have 20 contestants that are called castaways, and they're stuck on this desert island, and they have to do like survivalist kind of challenges and stuff like that.
Okay.
So for our purposes, I think we had 4 teams or something like that, and we all competed against each other. I think my team won, or maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but we were like, I was hyper competitive, so like it was fun. Like we just played games basically, and we won points, and then I don't know if that translated to a grade. Maybe it translated to extra credit, but I know there was some academic purpose for it, but it wasn't like learning. It was just like
yeah, that'd be kind of fucked up if they were like, "Oh, you got last place. Oh, you fail. Sorry, you're gonna have to do the grade over again."
No, yeah, I think it was extra credit. So like,
okay.
It didn't really matter, but it was really fucking fun. But that was my science class. So like, I didn't learn shit in junior high. Going into going into 9th grade. No, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, going into 9th grade, I was like, I don't know anything, and like my fucking 9th grade high school pre-AP World Geo class was so fucking dumb. They had this thing called the packet of death, and all it was writing. Like you just sit there, you copy shit from the textbook, and it's like, but that's not classwork, it's homework. So you have to go home, you got to open the fucking textbook, you had to fill out all these things, like basically copying the textbook, and then you would use that information. That would be like, I think like 50% of your grade or something like that. And then like you would use that information on like you would have to do that basically. If you come in and you didn't do it, you're screwed for the day or whatever. And it was so stupid. And I just didn't, I was like, man, I think that one I was actually like behind on because I didn't care and I didn't want to do it.
That seems pretty, no, I get that though, because that seems like pretty useless.
Yeah, I'm like, why do I care? I'm like, this is a 9th grade PAP class. I'm just gonna go down to academics. So I complained to my dad basically, and the next day, I think I complained to him in the morning. I was like, I think I want to drop, I think I want to drop down to academic, from pre-AP in both geometry and world geo. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I just like, it's busy. There's a lot of busy work. I'm not really getting in like any kind of like enrichment. So it doesn't feel like it's worth it. And with like football, I'm just so busy. I don't think I have time to do this. He was like, oh, okay. And then I go to class, I'm sitting in my geometry class. And then like 10 minutes in, the teacher gets pulled out by somebody. Or she gets like an email, I think. And then she goes up to me. She's like, hey, I need you to go to, I think she asked me like it was everything was okay, or like if this was like correct. And I was like, yeah, no, I was thinking about doing that. And she was like, okay, well, you got to go to this class. You're in this class. You're in this other class now. And I was like, okay. I was like, do I go now? Left? And she was like, yeah, go now. I'm like, okay. So I spent 10 minutes of first period in that class, and then I moved to a academic geometry class, I moved to academic geometry. I don't remember my teacher though. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it is ninth grade. Like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And
Although I do remember mine. Shout out Miss Gerst. I think you got fired. Sorry.
Oh my God.
She got fired because she's bad. I'm sorry. She was so nice, though. Don't get me wrong. Miss Gerst, I bless her soul because she was so nice. Like, but the thing is, she couldn't be strict at all. She wasn't mean.
Oh,
For
fuck.
example,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, he was the smartest in the classroom, and literally like consistently, he would fall asleep in class because it was early in the day. It was like second period.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't care. She'd be like, "Oh, let's say his name was
Janine.
Jack.
Damn.
Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy's
said
falling asleep in
Janine.
class again. Oh, Janine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm gonna stick with Jimmy. She'd be
Wow.
like, she'd be like, "Oh, Jimmy's learning through osmosis because he fell asleep on the textbook," and we'd be like, "Okay, Miss Gerst, like, what the fuck?"
Well, I mean,
Oh,
that's
man.
fair. I fell asleep in my favorite class in like I had my favorite class in high school, I think, was AP Physics because my
Yeah.
teacher was a fucking legend. This guy, um, he was a really good teacher. Like he basically like he was super social and he loved gaming. So he would spend like 30 minutes of class talking about like gaming, and then he would conceptualize the classwork in 15 minutes, like the lecture in 15 minutes, and he would be like, here's the basic idea, here's what you need to know. Yeah. But and people would like fucking like complain and shit like that. They would be like, oh my god, and all his tests were conceptual. There weren't multiple choice. And he does so much partial credit. It's insane. Like he will do everything in his power to get you points. And he even grades like positively. So he doesn't like a lot of teachers will like mark things wrong, but he marks what's right and adds points
Oh.
together and then has your point
Gotcha,
total at
gotcha.
the bottom of the page. And then at the top of your test will be your point total versus the total points you could get, and then that would be your percentage, and he would show you the percentage and shit like that. But it's psychologically, it makes you feel better because you're looking at what you did right as opposed to what you did wrong.
It's
So
like,
you
oh,
don't
you fucked up
feel
here, you
bad,
fucked up here. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can see that. I can see that
And-
for sure.
and you still get
But
the
yeah,
benefit of being like, oh, I did this wrong because I'm missing these many points, this many points on that. It also like helps you strategize for the test because you're basically in a free response test. Pro tip from Slacker, you want to optimize points as much as possible, not like complete it. Like don't complete shit. Just optimize how many
Unless
points you
you
can
can.
get in every like do every question, but optimize how many points you're getting out of each question. If you're spending 30 minutes to get 3 points, that's worthless unless it's out of 5 points. But like unless a whole test is out of 5 points. But like if it's 3 points out of 100 and you're spending like 30 minutes on it, you're wasting your time and you're going to get a
Yeah,
bad
for
score.
sure. That's why I like in my classes nowadays, like for hydraulics or fluids that I took last year, they would put like, it would be like, oh, question 1, this is 20 points and it's a 4-part question. And so
Yep.
you can like go through and like be like, okay, I have this much time, like I'm going to put towards this question. And like that really helps just knowing how much one question is worth. Like,
Yeah,
it's nice.
exactly. And it matters so much more in like college when everything is harder. Because basically, like even though he had free response questions, his tests were significantly easier because he realized like I'm giving you a formula sheet. You have like 45 minutes to do like a month or two worth of like curriculum. And he was like, you're probably not going to retain everything. So I'm going to stick to like the concepts because what's going to stick with you is the formulas going to stick with you or the concepts behind the formulas. So like in a college class, it's the opposite. Like you need to know the formulas and you also need to know the concepts, but like you need to be able to handle the math for like physics. If you can't handle the math in physics, then there's no point in going through it. And while they do care about the concepts, they really stress like the whole test basically tests how can you like what is that called? quantitatively, right? Yeah,
Quantitatively demonstrate
can you
excellence.
quantitatively handle these concepts?
Oh,
You
gotcha.
know,
That's what you
instead
mean.
of like qualitatively being able to tell you like, oh, this is what thermodynamics is, instead of doing the heat equation.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that. And
Yeah.
that was one thing that bothered me about I think I took physics 2 like a year and a half ago.
Dude, fuck that
Like,
class.
dude, fuck that class.
Holy
Because
shit,
like
I failed that class.
we would, I don't know, man, like he would explain the concepts and then do like one example problem.
Yeah.
But like on tests it goes like beyond that, right? So it takes up like that problem structure and it takes it like one step farther.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is like the explanation of the concept was never good, so I never really understood the problem to begin with. So the fact that he's taking that problem and going beyond, I was like, okay, like I'm fucked. Like I remember I took that final and I just looked at it and I was like, bro, like I'm gonna pray to anyone listening. I was like, just help your boy like pass. I think I got like a C and I was like, okay, like I'm done. Like that's it. Like I passed. Like that's just how it is with that class.
So fucking lucky. I didn't do any of the homeworks or like any of the extra work, like supplementary work. I only relied on my test scores, and I didn't even really rely on the test scores and lab credit, because I actually went to lab. And I didn't I couldn't rely on, I didn't know this at the time, but I couldn't rely on the test scores because I didn't actually like learn the material. I just was like, oh, I can cheese this because it's an engineering physics course, and the physics department, like they don't do enough to, it's a quest-based class. And if you don't know what a quest-based class is, it's all multiple choice for like, basically like the test is structured the exact same way as the homeworks, which are on this application called Quest. And Quest is like I think it can do multiple choice and free response, but on the tests, if you're doing like a Quest test, it can only do multiple choice and they give you a Scantron. So in physics 1, that was fine because everything was like conceptual as opposed to strictly quantitative. So basically, like the formulas, you would be solving for a variable.
Wait, hold on a second, Isaac. You're cutting out so much right now. Hold up. Wait, okay, say something.
Oh, hello.
Okay, now you're good. I think you're good.
Are we good? Shiv,
Or
oh
not.
god damn it.
Okay, no, there we go.
Are we good?
It's like,
okay, cool.
I don't know what it is, but at my house, every time there's like bad weather outside, the Wi-Fi turns into like straight like ass cheeks. Like so it's right now it's like thundering outside, and I think it's about to. Oh, it is raining, so I think that's part of the reason why.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
What do you have?
What do you mean, like the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
I got. I think it's Xfinity.
That's probably why.
It's just bad.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I can't talk shit on Xfinity. I have no idea. I think my parents have Xfinity. I don't remember it being like good. Or I don't
it's a
remember
lot
it being
better than our old. I don't even remember what it was through, but
Time
like
Warner?
literally, dude, our old Wi-Fi that we used to have, we would have to like, we would be trying to watch a movie upstairs. We'd get a laptop and then we'd connect it to our TV, like put an HDMI cord. But the Wi-Fi was so bad up there that we would take the modem from downstairs and then just stick it into the wall upstairs. So it would go from like, it would still be like 2 dots out of 5, but because it was closer, like, you know, our computer could pull through. Like it was, man, that was a struggle. It's crazy.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, but like, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, do the hustle, bro.
Yeah. Okay, so Isaac, I just want to inform you, we are at the 45-minute mark.
I know. I'm keeping a track of time.
Dope. I wanted to tell you something about this thing that I saw happening in Indonesia.
Wait,
and I saw it on.
Let me finish the whole thing real quick.
Oh yeah, I thought you were, my bad. I forgot.
Yeah, we're going on tangents. Okay, so Quest is TLDR. Quest tests are multiple choice. Physics 1 was formulas. So you would solve for the variable, which means you're not plugging any values in. It's just you're solving for, like, you're basically solving equations like F equals MA, A equals M over F, and that's literally the answer. Or F over M, sorry. A equals F over M, that's the answer, you know? In engineering too, they had some of those, but they also had quantitative questions where they give you the values and you have to just throw them in, and it just becomes a numerical result, which you can't cheese. Because if I know the formulas, I know generally what the answer is going to look like, and I can look at the answer choices and say, oh, this is like what technique they're using, and then I can solve for it. And then sometimes I can boil like a 6 answer thing down to 2 answers, and then it's just a 50-50 guess. So I passed engineering physics 1 on that. And also I had a good understanding of physics 1. Physics 2, I couldn't do that. Half the test was quantitative, so I can't cheese a number. So I just kind of, I got fucked. So I got a D in that class.
Man, that class was rough.
What was I saying too? I'm just gonna say about the teacher. I can talk about the last name thing later, like on next episode. So if you're curious about the whole last name thing, it's basically the same story as Shivam, but I can talk about it later. But yeah, my teacher for physics was like, he was such a fucking, like, he taught it in a conceptual way, and all the tests were strictly conceptual. So like one of the questions would be like, if you cut up a potato, does it actually help it to cool off faster? And he would write a story. He would be like, my wife at dinner said, oh, hey, cut up the potato so that it cools off faster so that our kid can eat it. And then he was like, wait, does that actually work? And he's like, explain it using like thermodynamics. And so basically surface area
I like
increases.
shit like that. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the surface area increases, so there's more contact through convection. Right?
Yeah, it's convection, like the heat is because the surface area is increased, the heat exchange between the air and the potato.
Exactly. So that it cools off faster, so the system can cool off faster. Also, technically, you're decreasing like the volume too. So the heat capacity.
Are you decreasing the volume?
I mean, if you cut it into 4 chunks, yeah.
No, but like, wouldn't that it would be the same volume, right? Because the mass or like the amount of potatoes.
You have one object that's a certain volume, and then you cut it into 4 separate objects, which are each its own system. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 4. Gotcha. You have 4 systems instead of one system.
Gotcha.
And then there's another one where it's like explain. A lot of people will tip like a water cooler to get the water to come out if the water is too low, or to make it come out faster. And he's like, why does this work? And you have to explain that the volumetric flow rate is based on the height of the water, or like the height of like how tall the container is, and then that affects how fast it like flows out through whatever hole you have. So by tilting it, you're increasing the height, and then stuff like that. So it's stuff like I already know that if I cut up a potato, it'll cool faster. I know that if I tip over a water cooler, it comes out faster. But he's relating these things that we already are familiar with in a way that we can now describe using physics, the physics that we like learn in the class, which was a phenomenal test because it solidified those things. I haven't taken another fucking like physics test in like 2 years. And those 2 physics tests the physics class that I took in college didn't talk about those concepts. So I still remember that to this day, those concepts, because like,
yes, clearly,
yeah. So I was like, this dude's a fucking champ. So like half the class would be spent just like relaxing and just talking and having a good time, which is a great stress reliever for like high school. And then like you actually learn productively. He's a great teacher. So that's all I have to say.
I think that is like, it can be like, if done properly, it can be effective. But I think that like sometimes in classes, teachers can try to do that, but they don't realize that what the time that they're condensing their material down to, like that chunk of like learning time, it isn't actually as effective. So like I think that system is like it can be beneficial, but if done improperly, then like you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on the person. He was the kind of guy that could do it, so he did.
Yeah.
And
You
he
got to be able to
really-
do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he really valued like that idea that I said where you need like a break, you need like some kind of stress reliever. And so he felt like he was confident enough to provide that. Yeah. So like he was able to do it, and he wanted to give students a break, and a lot
You
of
remember his name? You want to give him a shout out?
I don't know if I should. I mean, like, I want to, but I don't know if we should give out personal information on this.
Oh damn. Well,
You know who you
Oof.
are. You can out
All right.
yourself.
yeah. I shouldn't have said the geometry teacher's name then.
No, you're
but
good.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. It's the first 3 episodes. We're fine.
But yeah, okay. So if that's wrapped up, I saw this was a really funny thing happening in Indonesia that people started doing because of the virus and the the stay indoors, stay at home orders.
Mhm.
Basically, you might know this, but there's a very large like Muslim population in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Right. And so what people are okay, wait, let me backtrack a little bit. Apparently in their religion, they're like when someone passes away, they're supposed to be like put into a shroud and they're left I don't know if left is the right word, but they're not buried or something for like 41 days or something, or maybe they're buried but their soul is like supposed to remain on earth for like something around 40 days, something like that. What people have started doing in Indonesia to scare people to stay indoors is they dress up as a person in a shroud to look like a ghost. And they have like a volunteer group of people who do this, and they hop around and they freak people out and make them stay indoors. And it is the most incredible thing that I've ever seen, dude. It's so
really
funny.
But that's so fucked.
Try looking at it. It's let me see if I can share it with you. It's like Pokong Ghost.
Pocahontas? Oh, damn.
It's yeah, hold on. Let me pull up a video of it. Yeah, so coronavirus outbreak, Indonesian village uses ghosts to let me share my screen with you real quick. Let me show you.
Oh, shit.
Turn on screen share. I am sharing. Okay, can you see what I'm looking at?
Oh my god.
You can see what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm playing it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on, pause it real quick.
Yeah.
For those at home, you may or may not be able to see this. If you're on our YouTube channel, if you're not on our YouTube channel, you can't see it at all. So if this is audio only, sorry. I'll do a play-by-play. But we may or may not have this on our YouTube. So just go youtube.com /512 podcast, right?
Yeah, the link should be in the Spotify description for them, so you can find it there.
Yeah, all right, you can play it now.
Yeah.
So there's a dude standing up just in a shroud.
I'll skip forward a little bit. So they dress up as this in the shrouds, and they just like walk around, they hop around.
Buddies are just walking around, like it's like they're in white cloth that is like tied up and stuff like that, and they're just walking around. And people are just
forward a little bit.
The man said, Buddy said, we wanted to be different. So we started doing this. Oh, this is definitely scripted.
Okay, that was definitely scripted for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But like the idea that people are doing this, they put a GoPro on this guy while he's hopping around.
That's
Like that
really
is so funny to me. Oh man. So I saw that and I was just dying. Like it was so funny.
God damn. Whoa.
Do you, and I want to ask, do you think something like that could work like over here? Like,
No.
and like, if so, what do you think we could use as like to accomplish the same thing? Because that thing is surprisingly, it's very effective. Like a lot of
people are doing it. They're just coughing. Do you see that shit? Like,
yeah, I've seen
there's
that.
like,
I've seen that.
you're on subtle Asian traits, right?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
you're not? Oh shit. Well, okay. So I'm in a group called Subtle Asian Traits. Some of my Asian friends threw me in there. I get around like half of the like jokes.
Wait, why is that, Isaac?
Why is
Oh,
what?
that's right. I forgot. You're white. That's right. Okay, yeah, my bad.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can
Thanks.
continue. My
Thanks for outing me, dick. No, I'm kidding. So I get half the jokes, but when coronavirus hit and there's a lot of like racism between like against Asian people, because people hear like, oh, it started in China, then that must mean that it's hereditary, but that doesn't make any sense. Also, a lot of our like Asian population is like domestic and not like there. I don't think there's a significant portion of like immigrants from other areas. Most
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, there's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no international travel going on right now. So,
well, yeah, especially now, but like even before, I'm like it's kind of asinine to assume that like if you're Asian, you have it, and also like that
you just say
it would affect you
asinine.
because nobody I know is from like there. I know like 3 people from China, and that's it. And 2 of those people I think were born in China and they moved here like 10 years after they were born, and they've lived here ever since. So I'm like, what
Yeah,
fuck?
so it's like it's ridiculous to, I don't know, it's very far fetched to assume that someone automatically deserves to be targeted for
Yeah.
like an illness that they have no relation to other than it being from their place of origin. I don't know. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's something that if you don't look into it seems correct, but if you actually like take a minute to look at it for like 10 seconds, you're like, wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, but when people when fucking when that was really high, like the racial tensions were really high, uh people
What
like
do you mean when?
I mean they're still high, but like we don't see each other anymore, so it's not like nobody sees each other, so this wasn't happening. It's before like the lockdown.
Okay.
They would if they were in a store, they would and people were around them and they didn't want to be bothered or anything, or like on public transport, they would just cough to scare people, like my Asian friends and like Asian people, and they would post about it in Subtle Asian Traits, and they would be like, "Oh my god, if you ever want to be left alone, just cough, and everybody will think you have coronavirus."
Jesus.
It's like,
I think
man,
there have been a good number of people though that like I saw this news article. This woman like coughed a bunch like all over some like fresh produce at a grocery store.
ew.
And the grocery store like they just threw it all away. They were like, we don't know what the fuck to do.
Dude.
And it was stupid because she did it on like purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just like okay, what the fuck?
Accidental. Yeah. Dude, there's a fucking video of a girl pissing on like just of the those little like freezer things that have like the ice cream in it, like the small little
Yeah.
ones. She just like fucking pissed on that. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Why?
Why the fuck would you do? Oh, dude, somebody licked something and put it back, and he got a felony charge, and he's in prison.
Yeah.
I was like,
That
holy
was
shit.
the he basically
It was
this
old
guy
news,
it was like
old
the
news.
dumbest thing ever. He started that trend of like he like licked the top of like an ice cream
and put it back.
and he put it back in and people started doing it like all over the place apparently. I thankfully like, didn't experience that. And I like the video is just gross. And like like fucking naturally people got sick and he got slapped like a felony charge for being a dumbass.
Dude, you know where that comes from, right?
No, what you talking about?
So there are there's an anti-tampering act, federal anti-tampering act, that if you tamper with products, you'll get you will like, what the fuck is it called? You basically you get stuck with a felony charge, and you're like in there for like, I don't know, 15 to 25 years or something like that, something ridiculously high. But the reason why it's such a big deal is because of this thing called 1982 Chicago Tylenol murders.
Jesus Christ.
I just learned about this recently.
That's so specific. The Tylenol murders?
Super fucked up. Apparently 7 people died because some dick ass contaminated the medicine with cyanide. He like laced the Tylenol pills with cyanide.
Jesus Christ.
He was never found.
Really?
He killed 7 people. He tampered with I think they did a recall, and that's why more people didn't die.
Thank God.
But this dude just, or I don't even know if it's a guy, but Buddy just went around fucking tampering with like all these Tylenols and laced them in cyanide, and then killed 7 people and never fucking was found. So then they made
like
this
Zodiac
act.
killer type shit.
It's fucked up. I'm just like to be able to do that. Like I was like kind of getting into the headspace of the killer. Like you tampered.
What the fuck? They're like, all right, better go around and start fucking lacing cyanide on Advil.
So I did this. No, I'm kidding.
You're like, that was actually my dad.
Yeah, it's called method acting. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you did some like Heath Ledger type shit. You're like, let me go around, start coughing on some fucking lettuce.
So I went,
see what happens. So
I found the guy and I went and interviewed him, and then I used that as motivation for my character when I portrayed him in the 2012 film. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so like, dude, I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about the cyanide, or
yeah. Oh, so I got into the headspace. Like, even if you did that and didn't realize the implications, to like see on the news that people actually did die, and then to just get away with it, like that has to fuck with you. If he wasn't like, if it was like, I'm thinking about the kid that licked like the ice cream, you know?
That was a grown ass man. Nah, he was just being a fucking dumbass.
Wait, who? The guy who licked the ice cream?
Yeah, he was like a grown man.
No, I thought it was a kid.
Nah, it was a grown man.
But there was there was like a 20, 21 or like 18-year-old kid that did it, that got the charge. That got the tampering charge.
Damn, he looked a lot older than I thought. He was like, well, I mean, like, even a 20-year-old isn't a kid. Like,
well, okay,
I mean, they're fucking
I'm
stupid.
Saying,
but
like, kid mentally, like, as in like you're like college age. I wouldn't call us kids necessarily, but there is definitely a distinction between like a
20-year-old and like a 40-year-old,
or even like a 20-year-old in college and a 20-year-old who's been working full time for 2 years. Like, there's a very clear distinction.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So like this, I think this was a fucking dude who hadn't, like, he was, you know, I'm not trying to dox. I mean, like, he did fucking commit a felony, but I don't want to like dox him and say like, oh, this, yeah, obviously he has some whatever, like, oh, never had a real job, bullshit. No, I'm not trying to say that, but like, I'm saying that like you can see that kind of mentality, and like, you know. But I was thinking about the kid, like, I'm gonna call him a kid. I was thinking about the kid, and like, imagine if he had killed somebody from that. Buddy was just fucking around, you know? And obviously tampering, like putting cyanide on Tylenol is a step way beyond like messing around.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think this guy was like this ice cream guy was like, all right, I'm just going to fuck around and do something stupid.
Yeah.
But cyanide guy was, you know, I surmise that he might have had some intent to hurt people. But that's just my guess.
That's what the courts surmised, at least.
Like, I don't think he would be like, oh no, I hurt people. I'm pretty sure like he went in with that intent. You know what I mean?
I mean,
and if he didn't, then like, what the fuck?
I think honestly, I don't think there was any thought behind like, this would be funny. Like, I genuinely don't believe, because that's the problem with, like, I think from a psychological standpoint, that's a big that's what serial killers and like murderers and stuff like that. That's kind of where their brain's at. It's not a matter of like, oh, I want to do harm to some people are like that if they're like sadists. But there are like a classification of people that they don't think about. They can't conceptualize like
like this is bad. This is
yeah. It's just like they just do it. It's not.
But,
There's
like-
nothing more to that. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna do this because I'm just gonna do it, and that's like a
I mean,
whole
like
classification.
I
of
get
people.
that, but like for something like putting cyanide into Tylenol
Okay,
bottles, like
Which one are we talking about? I thought we were talking about the fucking dude who licked.
oh, I was definitely talking about cyanide. I was
okay, all right.
like,
I thought you were talking
I
about
get
the
your-
guy who licked it, and I was like, I think he
oh,
just
I was
thought it was
definitely talking
funny.
about cyanide guy. I was
yeah.
like, no, this guy definitely was trying to fucking kill
No,
people.
that's why I was saying there's a distinction. Like, there's obviously a clear difference between lacing pills and like
and licking ice cream.
and licking
and,
ice cream. But
yeah,
like,
no, okay.
it's the same kind of like. Imagine being in that headspace where like you're not even or even like not even like you're just out of it, and you just because you know how like sometimes you just do shit and then later on you're like, why the fuck did I do that?
Yeah, for sure.
But like imagine like fucking up that bad, you know, and then seeing about it on the news and not even being able to be held like accountable for your shit because like no repercussions. Like that's got to be like insane.
I don't know, man. It's tough. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought up the ice cream story because and I was actually going to bring this up earlier when we talking about the dog thing in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I also saw this thing called cart narcs. Have you heard of
What
it?
the fuck? What?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna share my screen with you again.
Okay.
Cart narcs is this guy who okay, hold on, let me share. Okay, I'm sharing screen. He goes around and
oh my god, I read the title.
Dude,
your shit is fucking up. Oh man.
fuck.
Maybe I
Oh,
should
man.
be doing this because I'm hard connected to a thing. But
So basically this guy will like it's like I don't know what's
bro,
so
what
he
the
just
hell?
left this guy. So okay, I'll pause it real quick because I think the video needs time to like buffer or whatever. But this guy I think he works for this Kroger or whatever, but he'll catch people who don't put their carts back in the right spot, and he'll slap like this magnet onto the car that says like cart narc or something, or like
my
you've
God.
been busted.
This
And it's just incredible. So I'll keep playing it. Can you can still see it? What's up?
before you do, the audio listeners, this says the title says I will shoot the cart narcs, which to me doesn't make sense because isn't he the cart narc?
No, because you know what a narc is. Like a narc is like the cop who gets the bad guys.
Yeah,
So he's a
Yeah, he's the
So,
cart
no.
narc.
well. You're gonna see why that's why
Okay,
it's called that.
We'll
You'll
find
see.
out together, audience.
Okay. Oh, I will full screen it.
I don't have any audio, by the way.
It's incredible. Just wait.
I don't have any audio. Why did he censor the cart narc sticker?
Damn, I don't know why it's okay.
Jeez, I think it's because your shitty internet.
Yeah, that might be the case.
The guy says I'll shoot the cart narcs or whatever. I'm assuming. I can't hear anything, by the way. So
Damn. Okay, you know what? It's fine. I'm not gonna play it. It's being so stupid. But like you get the gist, and this guy like that he stops. Is from Texas, and this guy literally says to the guy recording, he's like, "I will shoot you."
oh my
And I was like-
god.
I was like, Jesus Christ! Like,
It's-
just put your card away. Like a lot of times, he goes on later in the video. He's like, yeah, a lot of times people will be like, you know what? Like, my bad. I did something shitty. I'll go put my card away. But this guy literally gets so mad that he threatens to like shoot the narc. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, man, it was so wild to me. I thought it was hilarious.
What a fucking holy shit. Yeah, I love those
It's just-
videos. There was I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what I saw, but it's just basically like a parking lot interaction. People just freaking out at each other and like trying to, like one guy like threatening to kill people.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe it was like a racist thing. Ah, shit.
Probably.
Yeah, it was on Public Freakouts, the subreddit. And it was just like the dude was just freaking out, and he was like, but he was in the wrong, so it was like it was really weird. And the camera guy was just like getting him to admit that he was in the wrong without him
Mhm.
realizing it, and then
Yeah.
but then the fucking guy was like, "Well, I'm gonna kill you or whatever," and he's like, "You realize you're threatening me?" And he's like,
And you got
I
that
didn't threaten you.
recorded, like, bro,
Yeah.
you gotta, I don't know, man, anger clouds judgment for sure. And it's wild to see that people will go off the rails to that degree.
Yeah.
When they're being recorded. That's crazy. I can't, like, personally, I'm not a big fan of videos like that, just because it makes me cringe so hard. I'm like, come on, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like you gotta have a level of like just lack of awareness to just be able to go and say like, "Oh, you're in the wrong," while you're clearly doing something like illegal or like
Yeah,
or
like,
unethical, you know.
no, it's
And
ridiculous.
it's just
dude.
like, and people don't like being called out for shit, so they're like, "Fuck you," and you're like, "Literally, fuck you." It's not me, man. It's you. I'm just the messenger.
Yeah, you're the problem for sure.
Yeah, I'm just
Um,
documenting your shittiness.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking at the timer, and it looks like we're like at 1:12.
We are OOT. Out of
Out
time.
of time. Oot. We are oot.
We are out of time.
Yeah, it's like we're Canadian. We're out of time,
Oot.
but we're
We're
out,
eating
you know.
boot.
So we're oot.
Oot in the boot.
Oot in the boot.
Oot in the boot. Yeah, we're out of time.
Yeah. So
Hey, Shivam, I was looking at the time, and I think we're out of time.
oh, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cut here because we're out of time.
We're out of time. You sure?
Yeah.
What does your timer say? I just want
it
to make
says
sure.
1:15, which I think is around the stopping time, right?
What? Oh, fuck. I thought the starting time was like, I thought it was 60. So I guess we gotta keep going until it hits 60. I thought that was a stopping time.
What?
Yeah, like 60 minutes.
I'm
but
at
this is
I'm at an hour 15.
yeah. So that's a 1. So it needs to be a 6.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, we'll go for another. What is
We'll
that?
go for another couple hours.
4 hours 45.
Oh man, that'd
Quick
be
maths.
terrible. Yeah. Impressive and very
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Although it won't,
But,
I'll look like a head ass because it actually won't be an hour 15 on the actual feed. Well, maybe at
Yeah,
this
it'll
point now,
be-
but
We'll see
when
what
I
it
said
cuts out to be. I think it'll probably end up being like a little bit over an hour. We'll see.
I'm guessing 110 to 1. I'm guessing 113 to 114.
All right, a good guess. I'm gonna, I'll say the same thing. I'll say 112 to
Stop
113. How about
fucking
that,
copying me, dude.
dude? I didn't. I went shorter, dude. Okay, so you're stupid.
Anyways,
But yeah, I think we can close out
thanks for listening, guys.
Alright.
We'll see you next week.
later, guys. Thank you for joining in.
Sorry. This is the first episode that we're recording. We're actually gonna release it on our regular schedule, which is Mondays. So be on the lookout for that every Monday. We'll be here every
Mhm.
Monday. Wherever you can find podcasts.
Yeah, for sure. So, we started off on Podbean, but we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube as well. So yeah, and just keep your eye out. If you want those visuals, we're gonna try and add like the videos that we watch during our conversations. We're gonna add them into the YouTube videos, like Isaac mentioned before.
Yeah.
So if you're curious about that and you want to see those, check out the YouTube channel. You can find them in the descriptions for each of the episodes.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Thanks for watching,
All right, well,
guys. Peace.
Later, guys.